Today we have they're probably my favorite people in Kansas. We've had a long relationship. In fact, joining us today is Robert and Kathy Roohms. They have a long history in weed wiping. In fact, I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say there ain't nobody in the country that has the experience that this gentleman has with weed wipers, including myself and our company. So I'm going to start by introducing them. Robert Roohms. Robert and Kathy, of course, are from town. Help me out, Kathy. You're from what part of Kansas? What's the name? St. John. St. John's, Kansas. And Robert, over the years, has custom weed wiped over 250,000 acres. He's been doing this for a lot of years, and he is, if I have to, I will contact him and I'll call him regularly because I think he's the best expert and the best at what he does. So that being said, I'll also give you a little history of our company and the relationship that we've had with Robert and Kathy. And Robert will share his history on weed wiping. But in the late 90s, Robert actually took our gravity feed system, and he, like many farmers, took a good product and made it significantly better. And what he did was he came up with a way to pump feed our sponges. And when Robert came to us early 2000s, it was right after GMOs hit. Our company was devastated because we weren't selling as many wipers nationwide because of GMOs. But I am very thankful that relationship started with them, because when we started making pump-fed weed wipers in early 2000s, we never went back. We never looked back and went back to the gravity fed. They just work so much better. And I'm going to let Robert share some of those things in this interview. But Robert and Kathy, thank you so much for joining us. This, as you guys have watched episodes before, this is our sales manager, Derek Smith. And he is going to ask the first question to Robert. So go ahead.
All right. First question for Robert. Robert, why don't you give us a little brief history of weed wiping, when you started? Have you used any other applicators before, you or your neighbors? And why did you end up using a sponge for your custom application?
Well, I had a piece of farm ground that was up north, and it had some rye on it from over the years, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And I went to a 3-eye show at Great Bend, I believe, or it could have been Dodge City, and they had the weed wiper there that had the box on it and the tricycle tires that you could pull with a four-wheeler or that type of a ATM vehicle. So we're a little tractor. So we went and bought that at the 3-eye show. I think I bought the one that was at the display so they wouldn't have to take it home. And then
I was only 15 at the time, by the way, just so everyone knows.
So I had to be 84 or 85, somewhere in there.
If we leave a show without selling our displays, he hangs us up.
So we took that to the field and and tried to do a 400-acre field, which was pretty difficult and time consuming because of the way it worked for us in that large of a field. It took a long time. Then we didn't have any guidance system. So I hired a kid to stand in the middle of the field with a piece of PVC pipe and move 30 foot at a time, and I drove to him.
Wait, we had foam markers at the time. Why didn't you have a foam marker for that thing? Come on, Robert.
If you did, we didn't buy the foam marker kit.
Okay, all right.
That's what I did. Anyway, we did that for a while, and I had some neighbors ask me if we could do some work for them. And so we did, and then a year or so later thought, well, farming wasn't all that good to us, and we needed to make some extra money to try to support the farm. So we advertised in a Hutch paper, and we did several hundred acres for different people. And during that time, it was like, this is really killing us. So how to figure out how to do it different. And that's when I put it on a tractor and then made the one that moved up and down hydraulically. And we pulled that around for about 4 years. And that's when I went to a pump system. It was really way before that. That was a 40-foot system. which improved a lot. And we put foam markers on it, which was a pretty good improvement. And then we use that in row crop also. So we that type of deal, we could move it up and down hydraulically, which worked in soybeans and besides rye and wheat fields. And there started to be a lot of red-rooted or red pigweeds before the Roundup started not affecting it. We could still use Roundup on that in soybeans. So I started doing summer crop like wheat, and then fall crop like row crop, mainly soybeans at that time and some cotton. And we just kept, as you're driving a tractor that many hours, you think to yourself, well, how can I make this better? So, and the main problem was on a lot of bigger systems that would have the PVC canvas wrap. If you put that on a spray rig or something like that, if you went over a terrace or something, most of the chemical would run to one end or the other end in a 10-foot tube, and you wouldn't get an even application. So one day I was sitting at Waco in
Waco, there to Enid, maybe?
no, we're in Kansas.
Or Simpson. Hey,
Anyway, I was sitting there and I was wanting to get some parts to make my new system, put it together, and that's when John Guest fittings came out. And everything I had this guy pull out laying on the counter, I said, just put all that back. And he looked at me kind of funny. I asked him what those fittings were and that kind of thing. And he says, kind of explained it to me. And it just came to me, we could just do that in the same length as a sponge and feed us that sponge system and pump it off of a spray rig. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we did. If you went over terraces or anything, your sponge would stay uniformly wet and it wouldn't drip or run out on the end or anything. It maintained, and when you just keep it wet and keep it moving with the pump system, seemed to work better and better. So then we applied it to a Hagee spray rig.
Yeah.
And then after we put it on a spray rig, we ran it for 2 or 3 years that way. And then I contacted Rob. And
he put me on the informal. And I found out I was allergic to the rye, the flower, the pollen, and my eyes swelled shut. So I changed my things I do.
She became the manager and finding jobs, and we started doing more work with spray rigs.
What crops are you wiping in most often, and what weeds have you had really good success at controlling with a wiper?
We've done rye and wheat fields like in starting like April, and then it'll usually end up the last week of June. And then because we'll do Oklahoma and a little bit in Kansas, and then eastern Colorado, just east of Denver, or east of Denver, and that country through there, and for a ways. But and then after that, it's about 2 to 3 weeks, like the second week of July, there'll be shatter cane that'll start showing up in Milo. Or last year we started with some pigweeds or shatter cane and volunteer corn and edible beans. And then we'll do soybeans sometimes after that's flowered, and you don't want to spray a soybean because it'll drop the pods and things, or the flowers for podding. So you can catch some of your volunteer corn or some of your pigweeds that you could get in soybeans, which is also a lot like cotton. Look, cotton's the same way. There'll be the same problem in cotton sometimes.
That's great.
And Milo.
Right.
And alfalfa. We've done some alfalfa. Most generally in alfalfa, it's the first crop to try to get, because they get a lot of weed pressure in it, because it's trying to establish, or an older crop of alfalfa that's deteriorating, and it gets a lot of red-rooted or different kinds of pigweeds in it. And if you go in there and kill those pigweeds, the next time you cut it, that those pigweeds won't be in the second crop.
Yeah.
They try to get those weeds kind of cleaned up in some of that alfalfa, so it's not so weedy.
Excellent.
Which makes a better grade of alfalfa.
So my next question, I'm gonna gear this question to Kathy because I know every great business can't be done by one person. Although Robert's the expert and he's the one that's driving, someone's got to get out there and meet the customers and make those appointments. And Kathy, you've been working with Robert all this time. I know you were a nurse before. So I want to know from your perspective, what's the things that you enjoy the most about your top crop business and your custom application business, and then also share with us the area that you guys cover. And we're going to post, as you're talking, your phone numbers on here so people can contact you guys. And if you're in their area and can do custom weed wiping, these guys are experts at it and they're very good at it. So Kathy, share with us what you like about weed wiping and or about being involved in the business, and then what area you cover.
I'm pretty much a people person, and I love getting out and meeting the people. And they're consistent farmers are the same. My background of being the nurse is I like being there and being there with the people. It just works out very well for me to keep Robert in the field, and he sometimes gets food taken to him.
But I don't look like I'm missing it.
He gets so much joy out of getting rid of people's weeds that he doesn't need food, right? Well, probably not.
We're probably busiest in doing the rye in the wheat fields, and I really enjoy that. It's the people and it's the team approach of being able to work with the farmer, and there's a lot of Roundup Ready wheat and stuff. We've not Roundup Ready wheat. Scratch that. What is it? It's like double stop, and there's things that they can spray on it, but a lot of times that doesn't work out for them. They may get one spray, and then we end up going back and doing it for them with the wipe.
Kathy, one of the interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Robert.
Most generally, we're fixing problems that hadn't worked in other crops that we could come in and take care of things with that they can't use or they failed at with some other chemicals. So,
and I would say, guys, one of the real value of a farmer hiring a custom applicator, especially if you're getting rid of rye and wheat, it's always good to get rid of your weeds. But you've told me before how happy it makes your customers when they can go and deliver their grain and not get docked because of all the rye in their wheat. And that's in dollars and cents, that is a huge. It hurts the farmer if he can't get the full value when he takes it to the co-op, to sell his grain. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes they dock at 10%, and then some places I've heard that when they bring their crop in and it has rye in the wheat field or in their grain and in the trucks, they will write them a check then and not let them leave the scale until they've written them a check, and that's feed grain. So it does make a big difference for Robert. I am very proud of what he's done and what he's accomplished. I laugh and say, where you go to the next one, go, but it.
She locates all the fields and the farmers take her from one field to another, and she'll tell me, try to put in a pattern of where you're working in
right
to another without jumping 20, 30 miles and then have to come back.
Yep.
A lot of times, most generally, our fields and farmers that we work for is word of mouth, and they'll ask, and we'll be able to work for their neighbors or somebody the next year or whatnot if they don't have a problem. So.
Yeah.
So I do all this with being directionally challenged. I do not know whether I'm going north, south, east, or west. And I never eat sour wheat. But something that really saved me, and I share it with the farmers because they always have a hired hand come in and they don't know the fields, go to old Mabel's place or this or the home place. Well, I use a Garmin and I mark all fields with Garmin's, and sometimes it's a challenge, but I might have to back up, move the vehicle to tell me where.
From a phone marker manufacturer, I can tell you there's benefits. It helps Robert steer those weed wipers, and Garmin helps you get where you need to go. So it's great technology. And technology, I'm going to kind of show one more thing on the screen here for everybody. This is, again, their business is called Top Crop. And if you're on Facebook, here is their Facebook page. You can see here's another picture of Robert going in the field. I love the other posts that Kathy puts on there. There's some great ones. Here's some adult peer pressure, seeing your neighbor make test cuts. Just a great website, a Facebook page. Here is also their phone numbers if you want to contact them. And then to end here, again, I just want to thank you guys so much for joining us. You guys have probably, again, more experience than I know of anyone that's done this before. On average, I know you guys do at least 20 to 30,000 acres a year. That's a lot of weed wiping. And one of the last questions I want to ask you, Robert, is a very common question. Derek and I get it almost every other day is, okay, how long are my sponges going to last? And our typical answer is, they'll go away in 1 year if you don't take care of them. You know, if you keep them out in the sunlight and don't clean them out. However, on the other side of that, if you had to guess how many acres you can cover with one set of sponges, of course, you replace them pretty regular. And I think you even double net them because you put so much use on them. But about how many acres, Robert, would you say you can cover with a set of sponges on your weed wiper?
Probably 15,000. Probably 15,000 acres. Yeah. So they last you a year and up to 3 years, depending on the net that you put on there. As long as you keep good nets on them and keep them in a good condition as far as when you put them away, because I like to take them off every year and then put them in a cellar or something like that. So.
Keeping them out of the sunlight is the most important thing, because the sun will make them go away faster. So for those of you out there that are doing, less than 15,000 acres a year, I've had, growers that have gone 5, 10, 15 years, as long as they take good care of the sponges, which is very important.
Yeah. If you, do your job, and then if you want to put them away, just put them away and put them back in a box or something, and let them dry out. And like inside the shed, and then put them away in a box or something like that. But I save the boxes we ship them in, put them back in a box, and then.
There you go.
And then if you do run a sponge or a net, or you break a T-riser, all these parts are replaceable too. So
I want to thank you so much. It is always a pleasure. I know you've been to Oregon once here, and we hope that can maybe when you're close to retiring, right? You'll have another retirement trip out to Oregon, and we can go fishing, Robert. What do you think?
Any kind of fishing. Yes. I don't care. We're going to try to take up some fishing this year.
Okay. All right. You have no invitation. I'm going to throw one more advertisement out there. One of the fun parts on this Live Like a Pro, any of you farmers that are using weed wipers, if you send us your pictures, every year we do a drawing, and guess what the winner wins? The farmer and the dealer that sold it to him win a fishing trip out here to Oregon. And I have to say, Derek is my resident hunter and fisherman, and you're going to go fishing with him, and he knows what he's doing. So,
and last year we had 12 entries is all. Yeah. 1 in 12 chance, and the guy that won's actually from Pennsylvania, and I'm assuming he's probably never caught a salmon or steelhead in Pennsylvania. So
yeah.
So there you go. If you're a farmer and you've got a weed wiper, send us your pictures. So again, thank you so much, Kathy and Robert. I really appreciate you guys' time. I hope that you have a great summer. I know you're getting ready to. When will you go out again here to doing some fall, late summer whitewater?
July, most generally. And
okay.
we've had some phone calls about the volunteer corn and milo or in soybeans. So we'll probably do some of that here for too long.
Where are you headed? What direction are you headed from St. John?
West, probably between here and Garden City.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Guys,
I do want to say that Robert and I are putting together a top crop weed wipers website, and we will be able to sell them also. And so we will be a drop ship kind of thing.
Yep.
So
fantastic. As I will tell you, everyone that's watching here, if you watch the website, there's a place on the website where you can click on Buy Now. And when Robert and Kathy's Top Crop website is up and going, there'll be a link on that, and it'll take you right to their page to make it easy to order sponges. And I will end with this because, Robert, you and Kathy, in sharing that information about weed wipers and making it a pump fed, one of the key things that I've told you guys this before, and it has really helped us as a company, and we genuinely appreciate this, is, as most of you know, we're out in Oregon. And most of the weed wipers that we sell them in Oregon, but most of them are in the Midwest and even farther east. And to ship a 30-foot weed wiper from Oregon to Illinois it's a long ways to go and expensive, and you know the metal can get broken. The beauty of a pump-fed system in our kits is it's all UPSable. You know, they come in 30-inch increments, just like you see back here. They come in a box. You can attach them to a sprayer boom, and it's taken and we're a small company, but it's taken a company that had a good idea in the sponges. You've made it a great product that we can put on a bigger weed wiper. And I really want to thank you guys genuinely. It's been great to work with you guys. And I wish you the best. And again, retirement's around there for a lot of us. We're getting closer, I think, retiring for all of us. So that being
place I don't have a bill here or a hat on.
Since I take my hat off, Robert, you got to take your hat off too. Let's see if you have more hair than I do, because I know we're about the same age. Oh, you still have more than I do. That's good.
Mine's gone, but I shaved it. I got a long ways to go.
And he's only in his 30s, so he's got ways to go. Yeah. So anyhow, guys.
Go some wiping too much. How do we make this thing better? That's the thing about it. You know, we just couldn't cover enough acres. That's why we went to a different, more, bigger. Like everything else is. Look at all the new John Deere products. You go to a John Deere dealer today, and holy cow, this stuff's getting big.
Yeah, it is. And when you invest, you know, Robert, you put a lot of money into your millers and your Haggies. You've had a lot of machines over the years. People don't realize that to do that's a big investment. And to get the most bang out of that investment, you guys have done a great job of developing your custom application company. And I'm going to encourage growers across the country. You hit it at the very beginning, Robert. Farming doesn't always support our families like it should. You know, unfortunately we're in that kind of day and time. But if other growers around the country see these weed issues and say, you know what, I've solved this on my own farm, go out there and wipe your neighbor's fields. You know, and who knows, it may grow into a business and a profitable business that it's like every business. If you can have not only a profitable way of doing this, but where you're solving people's problems, it's what you enjoy getting up and doing every day, isn't it?
There's more than there's people doing it. That's for sure.
That's exactly right. Excellent. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to posting this, getting it out there for people to watch. And we will end here with our outro. And just thank you guys again for your time. Have a great day, guys.